everyone. Welcome to our education series here on ACDC. We actually have our guest Angela Chan with us today, but I think we lost her signal for a minute, so we're going to wait for her to get back here. There she is.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm like, you have perfect timing for a performer. It's just kind of like a kind of build that suspense to get back on the show. So I love it. It just came on right as we're going, like, Angela is gone. And now you're back. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. It's all the drama, right? And this is perfect because you have a performer background. But again, thank you so much for joining us on this education series today on this beautiful Thursday, beautiful day here in Las Vegas. And we're talking about small business and boosting our visibility and getting ourselves out there and just getting attention, right? I think that is the key when it comes to small business these days. It's like how to stay afloat, how to get your clients, how to get attention, and how to get your message across most effectively. And I'm so glad to have my friend Angela Chan joining me today. She is the founder and creator of the Creation Project, based right here in Southern Nevada. She started this business right in the middle of pandemic last year, kind of what I did with my business as well. So we share those, wins and challenges along the way. But Angela, thank you so much for joining us. You're also a part of the Asian Community Development Council Small Business Network. We just started that last year as well to give more visibility to small businesses owned by Asian American Pacific Islander here in Southern Nevada. So thank you so much for joining us. Angela, tell us a little bit, the Creation Project. This is a really unique thing, especially with your background to start up here. So tell us a little bit more for people who don't know what this project is all about.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a privilege to be here speaking with you. So the Creation Project was an idea that had been brewing in my head for a couple of years. And, we all talk about how we don't have enough representation everywhere. Representation matters and diversity matters. And what I wanted to do was find some way to kind of highlight all of the Asians in our industry, Asians in the arts, because to be honest, like 10 years ago, when I moved here, I was like, there's 5 of us. But as through this project, I've been finding out that there are more and more of us. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to have something that features us? And, and a lot of times, especially women, we're not highlighted as much, and we're also not as brave as we can be. And so I wanted to create some superhero characters that were Asian, that were female, that represented, all of the qualities that make us successful. And I really wanted them to empower women and empower Asians in the arts, and for people to be able to wear them as a badge of honor. There's nothing wrong with getting an education. There's nothing wrong with being motivated. There's nothing wrong with being determined, or even concentrating on whatever it is that you're working on. And I think that those are really great assets. And why shouldn't we be proud to have those as part of our personalities and part of our success? So the Creation Project was really born out of that. And it was just a matter of bringing what was in my head to life. And that's where my illustrator, Evan Chang, came in, who works for Sesame Street, actually in New York. And he's an amazing illustrator. He knows a lot about comic book characters and superheroes. And we worked together for almost a year, actually developing all 4 of these characters and bringing them to life and deciding, what we wanted to do with them. And so part of it is yes, it's a small business, but also a part of it is giving back to the community, empowering. How can I empower and reach more people? And so that's why part of our business model is we are sponsors for programs that support Asians in the arts. So we partner with the Asian American Film Lab with their 72-hour film shootout. We are currently partnering with the Colorado Dragon Boat Film Festival that's happening next month. And we also work a lot with Positively Arts, a nonprofit right here in Las Vegas that uses the arts to empower, educate, inspire, and heal. And through that, we have our scholarship winners that have actually been doing some really great work in the community and also furthering their arts education. And also the Peak program we're a sponsor of for East West Players in LA, which is one of the oldest and most established arts organizations for Asian Americans.
Yeah, no, that's great. And actually, we do have a video that we wanted to show people. We made this the ACDC communications team put this video together to feature all these small businesses last year as part of Small Business Week. So let's share that video really quick for our viewers who have not heard of your project and to learn more about you.
So the Creation Project is all about uplifting and empowering Asian women. You know, we don't really have any superheroes anywhere, and I thought, you know, I'm just one of those people, like, if we don't have something, why don't we just make it happen? We can create our own destiny. And so what I wanted to do at the Creation Project was have female superheroes that embodied the traits that make us successful: determination, concentration, education, motivation, because those are all things that it takes for a person to be successful, whether you're a man or a woman. But because, you know, female Asian minorities, like, we're never really highlighted, and I really wanted to do that because representation matters. I just launched it this year, actually, right when the world was shutting down in March. It's an idea that I had for a while, and I just decided last year to just take the leap and make it a reality. And so last spring, I started asking around to my Asian friends if I knew any, like, illustrators or graphic designers, and one of my friends, who actually used to be the girlfriend of one of my roommates years ago when I worked for Blue Man, actually still works as freelance with Sesame Street in New York. And she had suggested a friend of hers that worked there named Ethan Chang, who was an illustrator, and he's into superheroes and stuff. And so I contacted him just kind of out of the blue, like a bit of a cold call. And it turns out he knows a lot about animation and superheroes and loves that stuff, and immediately knew that he was a great fit to really bring these characters to life. So I have merchandise. So I have t-shirts, hoodies, keychains, luggage tags, and actually we're getting ready to do some face masks. And then what I also have is a blog called Amazing Asians in the Arts. And what I do is I highlight a different Asian female in the arts, in all aspects of the arts industries, every Saturday. And they talk about how they got started, you know, like what they had to do to get where they are, like basically kind of like what their process and what their stories are, what their triumphs and what their failures are, so that other people can read them and be inspired. Oh, I don't know. There's so many things that I love. I'm a real arts person, and I love creating, and I love just making opportunities possible, because I kind of see, like, you can open any door you want as long as you're motivated to do so.
All right, well, a little recap of your life right there. But I think, you know, I think that really proves the point, you know, in terms of getting yourself out there. You know, you have, you know, all these products, but obviously you wanted to make sure that people know what your brand is all about. So it sounds like you're investing and networking with the right groups, but also creating this digital presence, right? You're going out there on social media, especially with such a cool brand.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I just reach out to people that I don't know, because I figure all they can do is say no. But it's the ones that say yes that you can start building all these new opportunities with. And so I've been really fortunate that most of the people that I've been contacting have been really excited about this project and been willing to share it with, you know, with people that they know, and really just support each other. Like all of our amazing Asians in the arts that I've been featuring on my blog, they always just come through. Like if we need something, like especially with these self-care panels, like something that I've really noticed, especially lately, is that a lot of young people, and especially in the Asian community, feel really isolated and they feel alone. And it just breaks my heart, because number one, you're not alone. You're not the only person that feels the way that you do. There's a whole community. There is like so many people out there. And I think one of the great things about this new self-care series is that one of the first things we have to do is kind of admit that we're struggling. And no matter what you see in an online presence, you know, like that's not the whole story. And I think it's really inspiring for young people to see all these Asian women that have made it in the industry, but to also know that they're just like them. You know, like they are willing to open up and reach out about, you know, like what they have to do to kind of keep themselves focused, keep themselves sane, and that we all have, you know, bad days. And I think just that kind of connection between like all of us in this community, and even with the Creation Project, has just been been really wonderful and just helped really get the word out there about our organization and what we're about, and just trying to reach people and inspire them.
And I think part of that inspiration, and for any business that's listening right now, in order to create that connection, like Angela is talking about, is through, I think, as effective of content creation as possible, right? You have to create meaningful stories, whether it be through social media, on your website, but you have to come up with a story that speaks to what you're doing, but also that you can connect with your potential clients, possibly, right?
Absolutely. And I don't know that there's a single person who doesn't want to be proud about how determined they've been, how motivated they've been to really make what they have work, make it through college, make it through the workday, make it work for their small businesses, as you know. So, and especially over this last year, which has been one of the most challenging times probably for every business, big or small. I feel like what the Creation Project kind of really represents is that, you can keep, no matter what challenges you face, you can keep going, you can make it work. When I started this, I didn't really know a whole lot about what I was going to do. I just knew that I wanted to do it. I wanted to make us all visible and shout out to the world, Asians are amazing. We can be just as great as anybody else. And I want everyone to see us. We are going to stop being invisible. And I think that's just something that everyone can relate to with our product.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is knowing what your skill sets are and really work and play off that, right? I mean, you as as an artist, and you've recruited artists, when I started my business as a media, consultant, I worked off my storytelling skills, right? As a former reporter. And I know those are the skills that I'm good at. And I like telling stories. So I'm going to find projects that kind of fit what I want to do, because they really say, if you're not pursuing things that make you happy or feel like you have the right skills and the passions for it, I don't think you're going to go very far.
Exactly. And you're exactly right. Knowing what your skills are, what your strong skills are, but also knowing what your weaknesses are. So, things that I was weaker in, I found people to help me with that definitely are strong in that. So I'm not super great at marketing, but I went and found some marketing people that were helping me really get my online presence.
Yeah.
So things that you aren't good at, find someone who's great at it and then stop worrying about it. It's worth it to spend a little bit of money and really get that return by someone else's amazing skills than to try and just struggle through something that you have no clue what you're doing.
Right. No, and I think that's kind of the humbling part of starting your own business, right? Knowing that you can't be good at everything, but you can be good at some things and really kind of push for that. And I think, especially what you're trying to put out there, this positive message is so important, because this latest study that comes out that, optimism amongst U.S. small business owners just at an all-time low right now as of February. And I think it's so important to, talk about, how do you get over this hump? I know not every small business, succeeds, but what's your takeaway in terms of getting through, a year like last year and keeping pushing forward and trying to find ways to make it work?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's not like we just have a simple formula and that everything is great. It takes a lot of brain power, and it really takes that mindset of, I'm not going to let any roadblocks stop me. And, and that's what what it is about, creating new opportunities. So, the world is shutting down. All right. Okay. So now nobody has money to buy anything. How can I still keep my business afloat during this time? What will cost me the least amount, but also kind of get a great return? And so last year, my kind of response to that was, I'll build up my blog. I'm just going to start reaching out to people that I don't know that are in our industry, and I'm going to see if they're interested in kind of helping me kind of get started with this project and keep it going. And the creative community, the Asian American community, is just so welcoming. Especially, it's so exciting to find other people out there, to connect with, and you realize oh my God, our stories, they're different, but they're the same. And and so what really kept me going is just being able to collaborate with all of these people, because it's so hard when you're sitting at home and you can't really go out, and other people can't go out, and you're like, all right, what can we do from home that's going to be interesting to other people, and really reach other people so that they'll kind of come to the Creation Project and be like, all right, who's amazing this week? What new products do we have, and most importantly, what's my superpower? And so I did a lot of things, which, I grew a lot of my blog and kind of had those people kind of help me get the word out with that. And I started connecting with a lot of other Asian American organizations, the Universal Asian being one of them. Unapologetically Asian is another one that was started by some Asian women in New York that were in the entertainment community. And they've been doing a lot of great work, you know, with a lot of like social justice issues and just kind of calling to attention, you know, the life of Asian Americans. And so, you know, it was just kind of finding out who was doing things and how could we help each other. And that's just, it's almost like a never ending journey. And so it kind
is.
of just knowing that.
Right? Like trying to build your business at the same time while also, you know, helping your customers and clients and just keep going. But I think what you're doing right is you're putting that kind of face to your company, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's the story that you're trying to tell or the people you're helping, there is this image of what the Creation Project is all about. Because I think sometimes people start a business and sometimes they're not sure what their message is or what they're really trying to do. And the message is not clear. And that's why I think, you know, just coming down is like, know what your brand is and really promote it in the best way possible, I think really helps.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I learned from a friend of mine is, you know, to always have that good reputation, always do what you're going to say. So if you say, I'm going to do this for you, do it. Right. Don't lie. You know, don't renege on it. You know, like just always follow through with what you're going to do with your dealings with people, with business, and keep that reputation up so you become a trusted business and a trusted brand. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, no, and I've really learned that, you know, just kind of, and when you don't expect it, you know, you just think you're doing your work, you're doing the best you can. And then suddenly you start hearing from people, it's like, hey, I hear great things about you from somebody else. I would love to work with you. And you're like, this word of mouth really, you know, really helps you. And it's become such a small world as a small business owner, right? Like people know each other.
Absolutely.
People talk. And if you have a good reputation, like you said, it does go a long way in kind of like paving that smoother road for you as a small business owner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know you work with a lot of younger people too. I know you give away scholarships, right, to local students here.
We do.
Our county school district.
Yeah, actually in October, we did our first ever Creation Project scholarships, which I'm super proud of. We had two, actually we started out with one scholarship and we partnered with Positively Arts for it. And they actually matched my scholarship money. So I was able to give away 2 Creation Project scholarships. And then we got all of our applicants in and we really just couldn't decide. You know, there were so many like amazing kids that applied. And so we added 2 determination scholars, 2 smaller determination scholarships, because we just felt that these 2 other young girls were just so deserving that we wanted to help them and recognize them as well. So we started that. It was open to all Clark County students here in the area and Asian female students. And I'm so proud to say our 2 winners were from Liberty High School. We have Ella Mariano and Sofia de Lima from Green Valley High School. And then our 2 determination winners are Brianna and Samantha Gracia that go to attend Coronado High School.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that giving back is such a big thing. And I think that plays well in so many ways. And, you know, one of the things that when I talk to my clients about boosting your visibility is getting out there in the community. And in many ways, when you give back like that, people like the press, the media really take notice, right? Because that's what they're looking for. People who are doing big things and good things in the community.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important to give back to the community too, and especially to help support Asians in the arts and arts education, because I feel like you can never have too much education, really, but also to just give back opportunities for young people to experience what the arts can offer. And, you know, and especially in the Asian community, it's so hard, you know, like it feels like sometimes there just aren't any opportunities. And I really want to turn that around. I want to say, no, you can do whatever you want. Don't let people tell you that you can't do something, because you can. And so I think really helping to lift up young people in that way and empower them to really just go for it and don't let things hold them back. Don't let a roadblock stop your success, I think is just one of the most important things we can give back.
Yeah. And I really believe in, creating this visibility. We talk about how it may be self-serving, but I think when you put your face out there, you inspire this
Mhm.
next generation, right? To know that they can do it too. I remember when I was a reporter or a news anchor, people watch me as like, hey, is that a Thai person on TV? Is that a Thai name?
Yeah,
Kind of inspire that next generation of journalists. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Thai person reading the news before, or they see
yeah,
Angela, performing on the show. Like, I didn't think an Asian person was on a Broadway show before, so I think even
exactly.
just that visibility makes such a difference in the community of just inspiring, more people to come into the business.
Exactly. Like one of the people that we interviewed was Marina Kondo, who was in the national company of Frozen on tour. And she was in the ensemble, but she was also an understudy for Anna, I believe, which I think she said she's the first one in North America to do that on the tour, which was amazing. I mean, so many firsts with all these women. It's so interesting to read their stories.
Yeah.
I think Carla Gracia was one of the first Asian Americans in like the ensembles of Hamilton. Like there's a lot of people that you just don't even know that they're there, and when you discover that they're there, you're like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
look,
it's
yeah,
really
they're
great.
there. I can do that. How did they get? And then your next question is, how did they get there? Like, how did they, break through all of those barriers to get hired or get cast? Like, how amazing do they have to be? And one thing that's really, I've noticed that is a theme through all their stories is how hard they worked. And I think that that's one thing that you have to really, as a small business, have to really understand is that, it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of tears. It's going to be a lot of struggle, and you'll want to give up. But it's always, like, how much do you want it? How much do you want it to work? And that's what they've all done, which is so inspiring. And that's hopefully what, like, we'll persevere as a company and a business that way as well. We just won't stop.
Right. And that's why the superhero brand is so cool, because you really,
Exactly.
when you don't feel motivated, it's like, hey, you know what? I'll put on my superhero creation project T-shirt, and I'll get and I can do it.
Yep. You're like, I might feel mopey, but today I'm going to be a determination.
Right. No, I love it. So tell people if they want to find more about the creation project, where can they go?
Oh, so you can go to our website, which is www.thecreationproject.com. And there we have all of our products. We've got our t-shirts, our keychains, our luggage tags. And actually, we just introduced the face masks a couple weeks ago. So I'm super excited about that. So they're double layered. So they've got that extra protection, and, you can have, wear your superpower on your face.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Angela, again, for coming in and chatting with us and continuing to inspire, so many people, especially API women, young women, especially, just push through. And, I love how your T-shirt goes with the theme of the show today, education. It's perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Angela. Continue to do great work, and we'll hopefully collaborate soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Angela. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching on this Facebook Live. Do us a favor, share, like this page, spread the word, spread the positivity and optimism, and we'll see you very soon on our next episode of Education.